Hey, brothers and sisters, welcome back to God is Walking on Water. Yeah, got the sun shining on me, so I'm just trying to see. Okay, I'll give it a couple seconds more. Got something very important I want to share, so just going to give it a couple more seconds. Just give a chance for everyone to join in. I hope you're doing well. I know probably some of you that are watching, you're on American time zone. Just going to give it a couple more seconds to give an opportunity for people to join in. I'm going to be talking about Trump's impeachment tomorrow. As I'd shared with you just a couple weeks ago, actually a month ago, I'd shared with you my dream that I dreamt on the night of the 2nd of January 2021. Hey, yeah, it's 2 a.m. Wow. And are you getting ready to go to work, brother? For work, yes. Okay. Yeah, so I'll I'll cut straight to the chase. I shared with you, and if some of you haven't seen that video yet, you can check it. It's called Dream of Donald Trump. So if you go to that video, I'll basically make a quick recap. I dreamt of Donald Trump, and this was the first time I'd ever dreamt of Donald Trump. And like I stated in that video, I have no, no political agenda to promote Trump or any party, whether it be from the Democrats or the Republican side. Obviously, I wouldn't be promoting Sleepy Joe, but as we know, as Christians, as believers in Jesus, Jesus said that we shouldn't believe in any man and we shouldn't put our hopes in men. And I did stress last time to my brothers and sisters that many are offended, unfortunately. Many of our brothers and sisters that fell for the narrative of Trump being a savior or a type of a messiah for America. And last time I was just sharing how we can be quickly misled if we don't put our trust in the Lord. We don't put our trust in Jesus Christ. There is no king but Christ, and that was an inscription on the tomb of Oliver Cromwell. So we have to understand, as believers, we have one king, we have one leader, and his name is Jesus Christ. So basically, to summarize what I dreamt that Donald Trump was addressing the House of what appeared to look like the House of Representatives, but you will know that the layout in the Senate resembles the House of Representatives. Both of these rooms resemble the way that it's just fashioned, the way the circular seats are fashioned, the structure, the architecture is very similar. And I dreamt that Trump was basically addressing representatives, House representatives, senators, lawmakers, and it was very, very clear that Trump in the dream was talking about the coronavirus, but especially he was talking about the rigged elections. He was clearly making his point come across that the elections were stolen. So that was very, very interesting because I had that dream on the night of the 2nd of January. And basically, I posted that video on the 3rd of January 2021. Now, that's 3 days before the supposed attack on Capitol Hill. And we understand that that event was clearly staged for those of us that have eyes to see and ears to hear. And basically, in the dream, Trump was making that testifying, making that speech, and someone in the room basically went straight to the podium where Trump was speaking and grabbed his arm and pulled him to the floor. So Trump basically fell on the ground, and everyone in the room, I could hear voices. There was a huge commotion in what appeared to look like, the House of the Representatives, but I believe it could have been the Senate, as that this is where this impeachment is going to take place. And there was a huge commotion, and I couldn't see Trump because there was all of this crowd that was blocking the view. And then the crowd started to clear, and then I saw Trump being lifted up from the floor by some bodyguards, and basically Trump. People kept saying Trump is dead, Trump is dead. But then I saw Trump being lifted from the ground, and basically his eyes seemed like he was absent. His eyes were like bewildered, and it seemed like Trump was like he was hypnotized, like he had a moment where his mind was totally absent. So I thought that was very interesting, and basically he needed these security guards and his personnel to actually have him removed from the building. So basically, Trump was no longer in his right state of mind. In that moment, in the dream, Trump was being carried away from the floor, from the building, and that's how the dream ended. And I have to make this precision. When this man, this individual, came to grab Trump's arm, and he pulled him violently to the floor, just before putting him to the ground, he was started to scream and say, "I swear to God, I swear to God." Now, the individual approaching Trump had glasses and had a sort of somewhat of a chubby face. And tomorrow is the impeachment of Trump. Now, this can go many ways. Trump was asked by Senate. I think he's a senator, but he's a Democrat, House Representative Raskin. Raskin had wrote a letter to Trump asking him to testify in court. So what's interesting is that Trump didn't per se respond to the letter. It was actually his lawyers who responded to the letter. Trump never made it public, as I know of. He never made a public statement saying he would never attend the Senate to testify of the events that took place on the 6th of January 2021. So I find this interesting because in the dream, clearly Trump was addressing senators, lawmakers, representatives of the House. And I just find this interesting because so far, as the events have played, they are in harmony, in perfect sync with the dream. And I believe that this dream was clearly sent. This was a dream sent by God. It was a dream that was given to me. I believe from God because I was troubled after the dream. I was very troubled. So this can play out in many ways. Trump can testify. It can be possible. There is a Democrat or a House representative, a Democrat who recently said, and I forget his name. I'm very sorry. I should have remembered his name. But he basically said, and I read this from an article. He said that Trump, not Trump, but the witnesses that will be called to testify, it will be strategic. It will be strategic to, it will be strategic for either parties to call witnesses. So witnesses can come late. We know that when there is, there is courts and there is witnesses, to that witness for a particular case. We know witnesses can show up late, and sometimes we can get surprises in courts. A last minute, a last minute notice. You get a witness that presents himself when people least expect it, because not all the facts and the informations have been presented. So this is just merely speculation. Trump could testify. There is there is no impossibility. The odds so far presented by the media, presented by experts, is that Trump will not testify tomorrow. But we have to remember, for those of us that have been following these events, it was the lawyers, okay, who represent Trump. They were the ones, and it was actually David Schoen, the lawyer of Trump, who actually responded and said Trump will not testify. So Trump never made a public statement saying he would never testify. It was his lawyers who spoke for him. So this could play out in a way that we've not expected, that we will not expect. So I believe that tomorrow is going to be interesting. This impeachment is um, interesting and could play out in a very strange way, in a way that no one will expect. And I am solely basing this on my dream. The dream that I had so far makes sense because Trump has been demoted from his functions as commander in chief, president. So far, the dream was alluding to Trump being demoted, to Trump being removed from his seat of authority, and that the dream is correct and precise so far. As for the House of Representatives, they did pass this impeachment process. It was validated. So that's also interesting. That's something that I believe we can take into account based on the dream that I had, because all of these events happened after the dream. So for me, this personally, I am holding this impeachment process. I'm following closely this impeachment process, and I'm holding this quite to heart because I've made my statement. I've made my dream. I've conveyed my dream in the best way that I could about Trump being destituted, Trump being demoted and falling. I have shared that according to my dream, and so far we see that Trump has fallen. His influence, he still has influence, but his popularity is wavering. And I believe that what will happen tomorrow, if Trump testifies, the dream will be even more precise because this will basically mean that this is like what I know of the first time a president ever will testify. And if Trump starts talking about the elections, this is like a double whammy. This will be even more of a confirmation that the dream that I had was clearly from the Lord. So I just wanted to share this to you, brothers and sisters. I know that we, as believers, we should be careful about dreams, as dreams, can sometimes come from our own imagination. Sometimes dreams are not necessarily from God. Satan can have an influence in dreams. But so far, if you take the time to watch that video again, you will see that the dream that I was given is precise and um, has been correct so far in its interpretation so far with the events that have unfolded. I believe we can say that the dream has been precise, and to have a dream that precise shows that there is clearly a message being given in the spiritual realm, and if that message is not from God, what is the point of giving that message? What is the point of giving that dream? So that's what I believe. Um, just give me your thoughts for some of you. Just check out that video when you have time. Check it out and give me your thoughts on what what exactly you think. If you have some intuition um, from God that this is maybe a symbolic, or maybe the interpret there's an interpretation that I haven't taken in consideration, I'd appreciate some of your feedback. So I'll leave it at that, brothers and sisters. I wanted to make this video short. And yeah, again, I find it interesting that they have asked Donald Trump to testify, and they're pretty resolute on having Trump impeached. Another fact that I haven't, just before I sign out, just a fact that I haven't shared. If you go to the definition of the word impeachment, you will find out that the word impeach means to catch, to grab. Okay, and from the Latin, it actually means to attack. So clearly, Trump has been attacked. He has, according to the dream, he has been attacked. He has been impeached, grabbed, as that is the definition of the word impeachment. It means to grab, to catch, to take a hold of. So just wanted to make that clear. And yeah, B-Rad, God bless you, and have a blessed day at work today. And for those of you out there, keep your faith in Jesus Christ, not in man, because we're living in very interesting times. Very interesting times. Yesterday, I noticed in the sky was orange and red. Um, this is what they call the Sirocco effect, where the dust, the sand, due to a sandstorm in the Sahara, all of these particles basically are blown in the air, and then it creates this orange effect in the sky. Well, I believe it was an ominous sign from God. I believe God speaks to us in signs. And we know in the last days, Jesus said we will see signs in the heavens. There's going to be signs in the heavens. Joel, the prophet Joel, also makes it clear that before the day of the Lord, there's going to be tremendous signs in the heavens. Now, scientists will usually explain these phenomenons in a scientific, in a very ungodly, non theist view. But the reality is that God speaks in signs, and He shows His signs in dreams, in the heavens, in the earth, whether through earthquakes, through floods, to show His people, especially His people, that His return is near. And for the believers, we are told this is a sign for us, and that the ungodly will not understand. But yet, um, we still see that even the ungodly are dumbfounded and bewildered when these signs happen, and they seek for an explanation. But what they're missing essentially is that God speaks through signs. And it's not because some scientists can explain the phenomenons through natural processes, that they actually understand that God is sending a message. So I believe what I saw yesterday was an ominous sign that Jesus is coming soon and that something is going to happen in this country. So just wanted to make that clear, and may Jesus Christ bless you all.